731 Woodworks. Let me show you how to build a beautiful desk just like this. I use some pretty cool techniques and tricks in this video, so stay tuned. Hey, if you're new here, please consider subscribing and hitting that like button. Also check that description down below. I've got a lot of links down there that'll be useful to you, to some of these tools, as well as supplies I use on this build. So before we get started, I'm just going to show you the end product. This is what you're going to wind up with. It's a 4-foot or 48-inch long desk. You can customize it however you want. This is 48 inches by 20 inches deep. I got full extension drawers. These drawers are pretty deep. These drawers end up being inside diameter or inside dimensions 14.5 by 14.25. They're also 4 inches deep, so you're going to be able to store a lot of stuff in there. This is an iPad Pro 12.9 inch, so it's a good size iPad. It fits in there perfect with plenty of room to spare. You're going to be able to store a lot of stuff in this desk. These full extension ball bearing drawer slides, they are so smooth and they're fairly inexpensive. I think I gave $35 or so for a 5-pack, and I only used 4 of them, so I have an extra. These are satin nickel cup style drawer pulls. They're easy to install. They look really nice. The customer is actually going to paint this themselves, so this is going to be an unfinished desk going out. But you can see I've got some edge trim up here that's kind of adds to the beauty of the desk. It also gives it some detail so that you don't just have a plywood square desk. This is made out of sanded birch plywood, the top and the sides. These drawer faces are spruce 1x6 is all it is. And then the drawers are made out of plywood too, using pocket holes. Let me show you how to do all this. I'm going to show you how to build these drawers. I'm going to show you how I did the detailing around the top. I'm going to show you how I did my drawer facings, this whole build, so stay tuned. Well, the first thing I'm going to need is a sheet of plywood. To get that sheet of sanded plywood, 3/4 inch, I need to drive to Lowe's. To drive to Lowe's, I have to go an hour one way. So I got to go 1 hour and then drive back an hour. For 1 sheet of plywood, small town struggle. Let's go get that and let's get started. You have to remember, you're only here for lumber. Only here for lumber. I need more anything right here. $3.99. I'd love to have this one, but $600 for that, I don't know, man. It just seems like too much. So I didn't make it out of there with just lumber. Finally back from Lowe's from that hour drive up, hour drive back. That's 2 hours plus. I had to do a little window shopping and I wound up buying something while I was there. Bought this Craig Rip Cut. It's $40. I had a $20 off 100 coupon that I didn't print, and they wouldn't let me use it, which sucked because I've done that before and it's worked before. But oh well, I was out that 20 bucks. You could use it online, but you couldn't use it in the store. It's kind of silly. Anyway, I'm gonna try this out on this plywood. Well, got to unload it somehow, right? Got that Craig Rip Cut unpackaged, got my circular saw set up. It was pretty easy to do. It was actually very easy. And now I'm going to test a scrap piece right there, and I'm going to start ripping this plywood down the dimensions I need it. One good tip right there at the very end, it'll walk on you, and it did walk on me at the very end. So on these next few cuts, I made sure to hold everything good and tight. That left side there that I'm holding my left hand, if you hold that good and tight against your stock, it'll keep that from walking at the very end. And then I just took it to the circular saw because I didn't trust that rip cut at first, and I ripped it down to the dimensions I needed, which worked fine. I should have just trusted the rip cut, but I wanted to be safe. And then here I'm just going to rip them to the height that I need. These are going to be the sides of the desk. Got those 3 pieces cut, basically part of my frame and my top. Got those all cut out. Now I'm drilling pocket holes in my frame, which basically my legs. 3 legs. I'm gonna drill pocket holes in the tops of those, all 3 of those. You can see one of them here. The top of the desk is actually laying on the bench right now, and I just screw those in. 5 pocket holes on each leg. Screw those in nice and tight, and then I'm figuring out where I want my other leg there. This is part of the frame where the drawers are going, so I want to make sure that was exactly right before I screwed it down in place. And that small piece of board right there you see me keep holding up, it's just an 1/8 inch plywood. I'm just using that as a guide to get it flush with the back of that, so I'm just leaving an 1/8 inch gap. And then here I'm going to put some framing in. It's just 1x4s on the back side of the desk, and screw those into the plywood. It just gives us some support. So now I made my own edge banding with that 1x material. I just ripped 1/4 inch strips. I'm gluing them and then tacking them on with a brad nailer. I'll go back and putty those holes later. I'll talk a little bit more in detail about that in just a second when I give you this close up. Giving you a close-up of this. I apologize now for the audio. My microphone just broke. So what I did was just ripped a 1/4 inch strip, 3/4 inches wide, so that it's flush on both sides of this, and made my own edge banding. That way I don't have to iron any on. This to me it looks better. And then I'm gonna fill these holes with some putty, because this piece will be painted by the customer. So I need to apologize for the terrible audio. I broke my mic. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. So anyway, I'm sorry. So we got our basic frame going on. Right now I was trying to figure out exactly how I wanted my drawers to go in there. I've got some 16-inch drawer slides. I know that I want them to inset just as such. And I was trying to figure out how wide the face is going to be. This is a common 1x6, so it's actually 5.5 inches wide. And I figured out that after many trial and errors, because I don't know how to figure all that, how to know exactly the spacing and all that. So I just kind of trial and error. First off, I started out with some 3/4 inch shims, and I would just put one under here, one on top, and I mark. You see, I don't know if you can see them, but there's marks all up and down it. Well, finally I figured out that 1/8 of an inch between. It's actually going to be just a little bit less than 1/8 of an inch, which is perfect for me. 1/8 of an inch, if you put a 1/8 inch shim here and mark it, you move up 1/8 of an inch. So basically you're going to have a 1/16 of an inch gap, or a little more than a 1/16 of an inch gap. Anyway, it worked out just great. So I should be able to get 4 drawers in there. Perfect. And they're all going to be inset. I've got some 16-inch drawer slides. I'll drop the link in the description. I got them on Amazon for a 5-pack. It's like $30 or so. $35 is a pretty good deal. But that's what I'm working on now. I'm going to go ahead and start cutting my drawers out of the plywood scrap that I have left over. I'm going to make them, this is 5.5 inches wide. So I'm going to make my drawers actually 4.5 inches wide so that this covers the full face of it. Next up, we're just going to rip these drawers down 4 inches. I'm going to need 4 per drawer. I got 4 drawers. So 16 pieces at 4 inches wide. Cut my drawer pieces to length here. I'm going to cut 8 pieces at 16 inches, 8 pieces at 15 and 9/16 inches. And then I'm going to go over to the Craig jig. This is the K5 jig. I'm going to drill pocket holes in the ends of the 15 and 9/16 inch pieces on both sides. 2 pocket holes per side. Now I'm going to cut a groove in every piece, all 16 pieces, 1/4 inch wide and 1/4 inch deep. I'm having to make 2 passes per board. Move my fence over a little bit so that I can get another pass there. And that way the bottom of my drawer is going to be a 1/4 inch plywood, and it'll slide in that groove. I've got my notches cut, and this is just 1/4 inch plywood. They call it Luan or Luan. They call it Luan at my local lumber dealer. But I cut that notch so that that's going to slide in there. It's not so tight that you have to knock it in, but it's a good friction fit. I'm going to put some glue in there before I put it in, then that way, then I'll take a couple of brad nails into the bottom. But let's build these drawers. So these drawers are actually pretty simple. I learned how to do it by searching YouTube how to build drawers. You can do the same, but I'm gonna show you what I've learned, okay? So I got some 16-inch drawer slides here. These are ball bearing drawer slides. I mentioned them earlier. This side connects to your cabinet, and then this side will connect to your drawer once it's slid out. So these are 1/2 inch thick, so you have to take that into consideration when you're building your drawers, how wide you want them, because you got 2 of these, it's going to make 1 inch, so you got to take that into consideration. Well, then I got this 3/4 inch ply, and I know it's a little heavy, but it's what I got. You can use 1/2 inch ply, it'll be fine, or you can actually use 1x. I've used those several times. These are 3/4 inches thick, or just shy of 3/4, because it's not a true 3/4. So you have to keep that in mind when you're measuring. I want these because this opening is 16 and 5/16 inch wide. So I need this to be 15 and 5/16 inch, because they're going to have a 1/2 inch here and a 1/2 inch there to make that other. So it is exactly 15 and 5/16 of an inch wide. So this piece is inside these, and then I wanted them 16 inches long, and they are 16 inches long. So when you have to remember, you're going to cut 2 short and 2 long for each drawer. I've got 4 drawers, so I've cut 8 each. Now when you're putting these together, be mindful of where those grooves are, because that's where we're going to slide this 1/4 inch ply into it before we attach the backboard. But be mindful of your grooves, or you'll wind up putting one on like this, and then you gotta take it all apart. So just keep that in mind. I'm gonna put up 3 sides together before I cut my 1/4 inch ply to go on the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and stick these together. I gotta clamp this. I'm gonna put a little glue. A little glue never hurt nobody. On each end. Notch on the bottom, match the notch on the bottom of the others. Just take my Irwin clamp here. This is a 36-inch clamp. You can use whatever you got. These are like 15 bucks at Lowe's and Amazon. Nice clamps too for that price. I've used these more than probably any of them. I want to make sure everything's nice and flush before I even try to attempt to put a screw in. Take your time, because you don't want these to be out of line. 1.25 crack or pocket hole screws. Now you want to turn your holes facing the outside of the drawer. You're going to put a face plate on here, so that's going to cover that up. If you put them here, you're going to be drilling to the outside of that, and you don't want to do that. You get more meat if you drill that way. Got that side, then we'll get the other side, then we'll cut a piece of ply. You don't want to overdrive those screws, they'll actually bust through on you. So just be mindful of that. So we got 3 sides on. You can't put this piece on. You can't put it on until we get the ply in. So let's go cut a sheet of ply. Hey, thank you for watching part 1 of this 3-part series on building this desk. I really appreciate you watching. Stay tuned, the next video is coming soon. Or if you're watching this in the future, it's already out. Go ahead and watch that second video. Subscribe and hit that bell so that you don't miss any episodes that I'm uploading. This is going to be a 3-part series on this desk. The first series covered up to building the drawers. The second series, I'm going to show you how to get the drawers aligned correctly in the space, where to put your drawer slides. And then the third video, we'll install the drawers and finish it with the trim.